It's Monday, October 13th, 2025, and here's the latest happenings inside the federal machine. On this historic day of the 251 people taken hostage by Hamas on October 7th, 2023, the remaining 20 living hostages were returned to Israel. In return, as many as 2,000 Palestinian prisoners held by Israel will be returned. 4 deceased hostages were returned today, with 20 more expected in the coming days. And also 250 years ago, the U.S. Navy was officially born, and the invaluable branch of our military still stands ready to meet every challenge in defense of our nation after a quarter of a millennia. Today is Columbus Day, and the Republicans had some fun today by trolling Elizabeth Pocahontas Warren regarding the former Indigenous Peoples Day. Did you know that Dominion Voting Systems, the company who drowned in controversy during the 2020 election, has been purchased? You'll never believe who purchased the company, and if you haven't heard yet, it's a delicious white pill. Also, Barack Obama Presidential Library on the south side of Chicago is expected to open behind schedule in the spring of 2026 with an original budget of $300 million, which of course has gone $315 million over budget, which is $615 million. And also, Secretary of War Pete Hegseth issued new rules regarding the press visiting the Pentagon, and some mainstream publications issued letters voicing their temper tantrums, and those will be a lot of fun to read. And there's a lot more that happened today, so I'm just going to get started. And if you enjoyed the video, please give the video a like if you have a quick second, and subscribe to the channel if you enjoyed the video. I do the Swamp Monday through Friday. The videos usually post between 10 and 11 o'clock p.m. And also, anything that I share in the video, everything is no more than 24 hours old. And every article that you will see in this video will be linked down below in the description. So I'm going to start right here with Rapid Response 47, diving right in. In the past 24 hours, as the hostages were freed, in a peace deal he brokered, President Trump did the following. He flew to Israel, spoke to the press, met with Israeli leaders, spoke to the press, met with families of the hostages. He delivered an hour-long speech to the Knesset. He did an interview. He flew to Egypt, met with the Egyptian president, spoke to the press again, took photos, and chatted individually with dozens of world leaders. He also signed the historic Gaza peace deal. He delivered yet another speech. He met privately with world leaders, and then he flew back to the U.S., our great president of peace. And this is from Dan Scavino. So this is when Air Force One arrives in Israel, and this is air traffic control letting them know and welcoming them into Israel. So let's give this a listen.
This is Ben Tower. Welcome to the State of Israel, Mr. President. Your visit carries deep meaning for our people in these times. Thank you for our friendship and the unbreakable bond between our nations. God bless America, God bless Israel, and the friendship between our peoples.
And thank you very much, Air Force One.
God bless America. All right. So I'm going to move on to the next. Let me just take a quick look at this. So this is a view from Air Force One flying over the beachfront of the U.S. Embassy branch in Tel Aviv. Let's check this out.
Attention on board Air Force One. If you look off the right,
because why not?
You will see the Welcome President Trump sign.
The Welcome President Trump sign, eh? I think it's going to, yeah. Right there. Did you see it?
On board Air Force.
I'm sure you saw it. It was like right there at the last second. There it went. Yep, there it goes. Welcome, President Trump. And I don't know what they made that out of, if it was made out of beach chairs or I don't know. Anyway, that's cool though. All right, let's head on to the next. There are a lot, man. I've got like 70 posts, maybe almost 80 posts to go through in this episode, but I'm going to go through them quick because there's a lot to get through, a whole lot to get through because this day was insanely historic. And this comes from J.D. Vance. Today marks a truly historic achievement in President Trump's mission for peace. It was incredible to see those hostages return safely after 2 long years of unspeakable horrors. May God continue to guide our president, and may this finally be a lasting peace in the region. And this is from Rapid Response 47. There's going to be quite a lot of posts from Rapid Response 47. They're the ones that were on top of this whole thing. The peace deal, the signings, Trump speeches, they were on top of the whole thing, and they were posting throughout the day. So I grabbed mainly everything from the Rapid Response account because I tried to avoid grabbing double video clips. I didn't want to play the same video twice, of course, so I tried to stick to the same account. But anyway, so this comes from President Trump. This is not only the end of a war, it is the end of an age of terror and death and the beginning of the age of faith, hope, and of God. This is the historic dawn of a new Middle East.
This is not only the end of a war, this is the end of an age of terror and death and the beginning of the age of faith and hope and of God. It's the start of a grand concord and lasting harmony for Israel and all the nations of what will soon be a truly magnificent region. I believe that so strongly. This is the historic dawn of a new Middle East.
The dawn of a new Middle East. For the first time, of course, there is Iran. Okay, I don't think Iran was there. I don't think that they were helping to broker deals. I don't think they were signing any peace treaties. So true peace in the Middle East, we're not really quite there yet, but baby steps, man. Making a lot of major headway in recent years, especially under President Trump. And on to the next. From the president, he addresses Israel's Knesset. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right. I'm terrible with names, and can you tell I'm not Jewish? But anyway, it's a long quote. He's going to say it anyway, so let's just give it a play.
Mr. President, Mr. Prime Minister, Mr. Speaker, esteemed members of the Knesset and cherished citizens of Israel, we gather on a day of profound joy, of soaring hope, of renewed faith, and above all, a day to give our deepest thanks to the Almighty God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob.
Yeah.
After 2 harrowing years in darkness and captivity, 20 courageous hostages are returning to the glorious embrace of their families, and it is glorious.
Amen.
28
yes,
more precious loved ones are coming home at last to rest in this sacred soil for all of time. And after so many years of unceasing war and endless danger, today the skies are calm, the guns are silent, the sirens are still, and the sun rises on a holy land that is finally at peace, a land and a region that will live, God willing, in peace for all eternity.
All right. Yeah, man, the skies are calm. They can breathe a sigh of relief, breath of fresh air, especially when you mentioned the sirens are not going off. The Iron Dome is not in full effect. Well, I'm sure it's in full effect, but you know what I mean. Like, it's not firing off rockets constantly. So that's kind of nice. But again, I'm not sure where Iran stands, but there is a ceasefire, though, between Israel and Iran, which Trump brokered. When was that? In June? I think it was in June when that happened. So, yeah, so Iran is quiet. So there is peace right now. There is peace in the Middle East. So hopefully it'll be lasting. And we have another one from President Trump, same one. So the next several are going to be in the same speech. So I'm just going to run them through one by one. Let me just make sure I'm not going to play the same one again. Okay, I think I'm at this one.
So as we celebrate today, let us remember how this nightmare of depravity and death all began. 2 years ago, on the eve of the Simchat Torah holiday, thousands of innocent Israeli civilians were attacked by terrorists, and one of the most evil and heinous desecrations of innocent life the world has ever seen, the worst slaughter of Jews since the Holocaust.
Yeah, the Holocaust. Yeah, really.
The cruelty of October 7th struck to the core of humanity itself. Nobody could believe what they were witnessing.
Well, and what was especially horrifying about that was the fact that so many people were getting it on video because it was in 2023. Everybody's got a camera in their pocket. And if you're not a daily user of the X platform, you know, just be lucky that you weren't at that time, because there were lots of really bad graphic videos that were just streaming through on that day. It was pretty tough to watch, man.
The United States of America grieved alongside you, and we mourned for our own citizens who were so viciously taken that day. And to all the families whose lives were forever changed by the atrocities of that day, and all of the people of Israel, please know that America joins you in those two everlasting vows: never forget and never again.
God willing. All right, off to the next. Let's go with this one. All right, I'm hoping they're in order. I grabbed them in order that they were posted, so I'm assuming that these are in sequential order throughout the speech. Here we go.
From October 7th until this week, Israel has been a nation at war, enduring burdens that only a proud and faithful people could withstand. It was a very tough period of time. For so many families across this land, it has been years since you've known a single day of true peace. But now at last, not only for Israelis, but also for Palestinians and for many others, the long and painful nightmare is finally over. And as the dust settles, the smoke fades, the debris is removed, and the ashes cleaned from the air, the day that breaks on a region transformed, and a beautiful and much brighter future appears suddenly within your reach.
I mean, has there really been a long-standing period of peace that Israel has gone through since their independence? I honestly don't know. I'm not knowledgeable about Israel, the region, really. Only just, kind of bits and pieces throughout my lifetime. Hopefully this thing will really hold, man. I'm really hoping that it will. Here we go for the next one.
Let me also convey my tremendous appreciation for all of the nations of the Arab and Muslim world that came together to press Hamas to set the hostages free and to send them home. We had a lot of help. We had a lot of help from a lot of people that
that's
you wouldn't
amazing.
Suspect. And I want to thank
Hell
you
yeah.
very much for that.
Or heck yeah.
It's an incredible triumph for Israel and the world to have all of these nations working together as partners in peace. And it's pretty unusual for you to see that, but it happened in this case. This was a very unusual point in time.
Yeah, man, peace is possible. Give peace a chance, man.
Generations from now, this will
You hear that,
be
leftist?
remembered as the moment that everything began to change, and change very much for the better. Like the USA right now, it will be the golden age of Israel and the golden age of the Middle East. It's going to work together.
All right. One of my main questions that I have for the days ahead, as a matter of fact, like from this point forward, with all of the leftists that have been going on these protests and these riots and all this shit with regard to free Palestine, how many millions of signs did they make that said free Palestine on it? And also, did you know that these Palestine protests, they extended not only throughout the US and UK, they were even in fucking South Korea. I saw a free Palestine protest in South Korea that occurred last year. I just happened across it on the internet somewhere. But yeah, they were holding free Palestine protests in South Korea. So they were literally all over the world. And it makes me wonder, are the leftists going to give this one to Trump? Are Democrats going to give this credit to Trump? Because if it wasn't for Trump, and I think everybody's in agreement, if it wasn't for his diplomacy and for his team, like including Marco Rubio and some others in his inner circle, it would not have been possible, at least not as of today. It may have gone on for another 2-5, who knows how many years. So I'd be really curious to see if Democrats are actually giving him credit. Now, I know that there's at least a couple of Democrats that did give him credit for it. I'm just wondering if the Democratic Party at large, and if it extends out to the progressives and the far leftists and the ones that have been chanting free Palestine for the last however many years, I wonder if they're going to give him credit. I somehow doubt it. All right, here we go. 22 seconds.
The God who once dwelled among his people in this city still calls us, in the words of Scripture, the turn from evil and do good, to seek peace and pursue it. So he still whispers truth into the hills and knolls and valleys of his magnificent creation, and he still writes hope into the hearts of his children all over the world.
Yep, because President Trump freed Palestine. He freed them, or he was largely responsible for it. He gave the leftist protesters everything they wanted with this deal. Here, let's go to the next
From the
one.
very first day that modern Israel was founded, we have stood together through thick and thin, of setbacks, and through victory and defeat, through glory and heartache. We have built industries together. We have made discoveries together. We have confronted evil together, and we have waged war together. And perhaps most beautifully of all, we have made peace together. And this week, against all odds, we have done the impossible and brought our hostages home.
Amen. So we'll go with another one. Yes, obviously these are the highlights that they grabbed from the speech. The speech itself, I believe it was the better part of an hour long. It was kind of a long speech. And this isn't the only one he gives. He gives another one over in Egypt, if I'm not mistaken.
The story of fierce Israeli resolve and triumph since October 7th should be proof to the entire world that those who seek to destroy this nation are doomed to bitter failure. The state of Israel is strong, and it will live and thrive forever.
All right, off to the next. Here we go. Still continuing with the president, and it's a whole quote, right? Yeah, it's a whole quote, so
over the past 2 years, I've met many of the families of the Israelis taken hostage and those that were taken hostage. Unbelievable. I've looked into their eyes. I've seen the worst nightmares of their suffering, but I've also seen something else, the beautiful love of the people, the love of people, frankly, that hold things together, the love that gives you the courage to carry on through thousands of years of persecution and repression, and to emerge with the heart of David. It's the heart of David. It's that love that's defeated the enemies of civilization, built this incredible country and this unbelievable economy, and forged one of the great democracies of the world.
I mean, I can only imagine some of these videos that President Trump had to watch, because, I'm sure that Hamas was down in those tunnels filming shit, like the fucking Taliban, like what fucking Osama bin Laden type shit, like doing all that filming with the hostages, probably got blindfolds on and all kinds of shit. So, I mean, I can only imagine what he saw. So for anybody to say, well, he looked into their eyes, but he didn't really see what happened. I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm sure there was a lot of video that was released that was classified with them giving demands. Probably, I don't know how much atrocity was occurring on film, but I'm sure that they were sending out ransom videos and threatening videos. I don't know definitively. I'm just saying that it wouldn't surprise me at all if President Trump witnessed a lot of really harrowing shit that they were releasing. Here we go with another one.
Across the Middle East, the forces of chaos, terror, and ruin that have plagued the region for decades now stand weakened, isolated, and totally defeated. A new coalition of proud and responsible nations is emerging. And because of us, the enemies of all civilization are in retreat. Thanks to the bravery and incredible skill of the Israeli Defense Forces and Operation Rising Lion.
Operation Rising Lion.
Guy's central casting. Let's put him in a movie. Look at him. Great job.
I'm sure they could make one.
And my people loved working with you. Loved it. They worked so well together. But many of Iran's top terrorists, including nuclear scientists and commanders, have been extinguished from this earth.
And we got another, one more. This is the last one. Last one we got. Okay, here we go.
And the choice for Palestinians could not be more clear. This is their chance to turn forever from the path of terror and violence. It's been extreme, to exile the wicked forces of hate that are in their midst. And I think that's going to happen. I've met some people over the last couple of months that want to see it happen very much. And after tremendous pain and death and hardship, now is the time to concentrate on building their people up instead of trying to tear Israel down. We don't want that to happen again. And the total focus of Gazans must be on restoring the fundamentals of stability, safety, dignity, and economic development so they can finally have the better life that their children really do deserve after all these decades of horror. I intend to be a partner in this effort in the sense that we're going to help and we're going to do something that became unbelievably popular. Everybody wants to be on it. It's called the Board of Peace. And the choice...
Yeah, and also, I mean, Trump's been saying this for months, that he wants the Gaza region to be rebuilt and modernized. And supposedly, I don't know if all of these Arab nations that signed on to this peace deal, if they're going to take part in it, but I think they are. I'm pretty sure they are. That was part of the reason why they were signing on, that they want to rebuild it and they want to turn it into, I don't know if economic center would be the right way to put it, but they want to redevelop it. So, and that's part of the peace deal. Part of the peace deal is that they're going to clear out all the rubble and they're going to rebuild, I don't know, a majority of the buildings, I suppose, but definitely the hospitals and the public buildings. They're going to restore all of that. So I'm sure it's going to be quite an endeavor. I'm sure it's going to take years to do. So anyway, we got this from Secretary Marco Rubio. Today is a new day in the Middle East. Thank you, President Trump, for your unwavering commitment to peace. The world is a safer place because of your leadership. I assume that place was supposed to be there. So President Donald J. Trump delivers remarks to Israel's Knesset in Jerusalem. After 2 harrowing years in darkness and captivity, 20 courageous hostages are returning to the glorious embrace of their families. Let's give this a watch here.
After 2
from the White House.
years in darkness and captivity, 20 courageous hostages are returning to the glorious embrace of their families, and it is glorious. 28 more precious loved ones are coming home at last to rest in this sacred soil for all of time. And after so many years of unceasing war and endless danger, today the skies are calm, the guns are silent, the sirens are still, and the sun rises on a holy land that is finally at peace, a land and a region that will live, God willing, in peace for all eternity.
All right, I think we actually did get that clip, but this was a different angle, so I'm watching all of this for the first time. I just want to react accordingly, so wasn't really any way of knowing that for sure. But anyway, so that's the end of his speech in Israel, and from Rapid Response, President gives his signature fist pump and boards Air Force One, wrapping up a remarkable historic day of celebration in Israel. The next stop is Sharm el-Sheikh in Egypt. So here we go. Trump getting on the plane. Doing the fist pump. As he heads into Air Force One, and then we're going to get a little bit from in the plane. Happening now, Air Force One enters Egyptian airspace. Thank you, Egypt. And it looks like Egyptian fighter jets here. I'm not for sure. Those could be American, but I'm assuming they're Egyptian because, he said thank you, Egypt. So just making it. Oh, yeah. There's the Egyptian flag on the tail. Yep, Egyptian fighters escorting Air Force One. It's certainly not something you see every day. Probably pretty common, though, right? Whenever Air Force One is entering at least well, I don't know about a Western nation, but any nation that has an Air Force, I'm sure they probably escort them in. All right, so anyway, we'll go on to the next one. So some iPhone pictures from Air Force One flying over Egypt from Dan Scavino. And we saw that, also saw them there. And again and again. All right, so the next, I think they're on the ground. Okay, so yeah, we already got that one. All right, so here we go. At Secretary Marco Rubio, this is him speaking, and we'll hear what he has to say on CNN.
I think both Steve and Jared will tell you the critical role they played, and they can tell you themselves. They hosted the talks here, and they're going to play a very important role now in the follow-up, the implementation of this, which is really, it's not simply about restoring Gaza, it is about transforming the region. So we have an incredible partner, a long alliance, a very capable partner here, and a tremendous collection of leaders. This is clearly, in my mind, I think in the mind of everyone in this room, probably one of the most important days for world peace in 50 years. And that's not an exaggeration.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Only 50?
Maybe 100.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, very well could be, for sure. Especially with so many Arab nations signing on with it, too. I mean, I think that's what helps make it as historic as it is. So this is the president speaking.
Can you tell us when phase 2 of the negotiations will begin?
Well, it started. I mean, it started as far as we're concerned. Phase 2 is starting. And, the phases are all a little bit mixed in with each other. We're going to start cleaning up. You look at Gaza, and it needs a lot of cleanup. That's why when I talked in my speech, I talked about the debris. I used the word debris. That's debris times 10.
Rubble. Yeah,
so,
rubble.
But they're gonna really do a job. They have a lot of power. In another room, you have some of the wealthiest nations in the world. All leaders, the big leaders are here. The emirs and the kings and everybody, and it's a very interesting group. I guess we have like 35 countries, and that's only because they were the 35 that we invited. Everybody that we invited came. So there's a lot of respect, and I think you'll see some tremendous progress.
Yeah, I mean, imagine 35 countries helping to rebuild the region. I think they're right. It probably is the most important moment in world peace that we've seen in most, if not all, of our lifetimes. And we've got the president stands at the center alongside dozens of his fellow world leaders, all coming together for today's unprecedented International Gaza Peace Summit in Egypt. So it's basically just a photo op. Jeremy said everybody smile. A lot of world leaders. I'm surprised Netanyahu is way over there. I'm surprised he wasn't more close to the center. At least I think that's Netanyahu. It looks like him.
Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you.
Yeah, Trump and his sense of humor. All right. So the president on foreign support for the Gaza peace deal, and they quote him on this.
Well, we had a lot of great success and a lot of great countries that wanted this to happen. Countries that you wouldn't think. Qatar was fantastic. Saudi Arabia was fantastic. UAE was fantastic. Jordan,
a lot of wealth there.
King Abdullah he just couldn't have been nicer. I call him general, but president. You can call him whatever you want. But El-Sisi, strong, tough, like an unbelievable guy. They all wanted to see this happen. That's the amazing thing. Everybody came together at this point. If you go back 6 months or 7 months, you would have said a thing like this is impossible. I mean, we have 35 different countries over there, all there, just about all with their leaders, not just sending somebody over. And they all wanted this to happen. And I think I had a big impact, but I can have a big impact. If they don't want it to happen, it's not going to happen. They all wanted this to happen, and it's one of the most beautiful things I've ever seen. I mean, I watched your coverage, and I really appreciate it. You're a real professional, not because it's good or bad. You're just really professional. It'd be
objective.
Great if other people could do what you do, because they put negative spins. But even if you look at the spin that the other, I would call them the fake news, has been putting on it, everybody's been positive. It's sort of a miracle, actually.
Yeah, but that the mainstream media, the fake news, they're going to try to find any negativity they possibly can out of this because Trump is involved. All right, this is from Christopher Landau. For years, the foreign policy establishment said it couldn't be done. They wrote articles and books about the problems, but never delivered any solutions. In less than a year into his second term, President Trump delivered results on peace in the Middle East and other global flashpoints. I'm so proud to work for this president and the great Secretary Rubio in the most transformative foreign policy presidency of my lifetime. And this is the signing. Here, hold on. Let me read this real quick. Historic moment. President Donald J. Trump, alongside the leaders of Qatar, Egypt, and Turkey, signs the Gaza peace plan for peace in the Middle East. Are they really playing that music through the speakers? It's a little cringe if I'm being honest.
3,000 years to get to this point. Can you believe it? And it's going to hold up, too. It's going to hold up.
Maybe just the White House added in this music in like post-edit or whatever. I don't know. It kind of sounds like they're actually playing it there.
Okay.
Peace in the Middle East. It's been a heck of a year, man. Definitely had its ups and downs. It's not over yet, man. All right. Well, I think we get the idea. They're just signing away. Getting this peace in the Middle East started. The first time in thousands of years.
Okay.
All right, there we got it. We got it. Awesome. The signing is official. And this is a speech from President Trump in Egypt, and I have a few of these to go through.
The momentous breakthrough that we're here to celebrate tonight is more than the end of the war in Gaza. It's with God's help. It'll be the new beginning for an entire beautiful Middle East. From this moment forward, we can build a region that's strong and stable and prosperous and united.
That's the Italian Prime Minister, isn't it?
The path
Looks
of
like
terror
her.
once and for all. We want the momentous breakthrough that we're.
That to the next.
We've all agreed that supporting Gaza must be done.
Maybe that's not her. I don't know.
People themselves, but we don't want to fund anything having to do with bloodshed, hatred, or terror, as has happened in the past. And for the same reason, we're also agreed that Gaza's reconstruction requires that it be demilitarized and that a new, honest civilian police force must be allowed to create a safe condition for the people in Gaza.
Yeah, it's going to be the most nerve-wracking aspect of this ceasefire is having to collect all the firearms and get all the IEDs and just basically just try to sweep the entire region for weaponry. All right. Well, and plus I heard somewhere that there's up to 400 miles worth of tunneling in the Gaza Strip, which is insane. But they're supposed to be blasting all of it, covering all of it up, sealing it all off. And here we go with another one.
I'm deeply honored to receive from you, Egypt's highest state honor, the Order of the Nile. The Nile is so beautiful, so magnificent. It's such a beautiful title, the Order of the Nile. Thank you very much, Mr. President. Appreciate it. Great honor.
Yeah, Nile River, man. Longest river in the world. All right, I think that's all we got from that speech. If I'm not mistaken. Yeah. Okay, so promises kept, emotional moments out of Israel as hostages Ram Broslavsky and Nimrod Cohen and Eaton Horn were welcomed home by the IDF. Try not to butcher the names. I'm just horrible with names. But anyway, here, let's check this out. We're going to start getting into the hostage releases, which I've got quite a few of the hostages that were reunited with family. But yeah, it looks like they're being officially handed over to the IDF at this point. Probably got them prepped for medical if needed. And with some of the reunifications with family, they have before and the before picture before they were taken hostage. So we'll get to those here in a second. So from Mike Rogers, blessed are the peacemakers. President Trump did what many thought was impossible. All of the hostages held by Hamas have been freed. And from Fox News, Israeli hostages returning home to their families after being held by Hamas in Gaza for more than 2 years. And I believe this is an article which, for now, I'll link it in the description. I won't go through the article because there's quite a few more video clips to get through. But if I have time, I might check it out. All right, so let's head to the next one. I think we're going to get into... Oh, okay, hold on. So President Trump declares Secretary Rubio will go down as the greatest Secretary of State in the history of the United States. Marco will go down. Okay, so it's just a quick one. I know it's from the earlier speech, but it's connected to the next post, so I figured I would put it here.
And I have a prediction that Marco will go down, I mean this, as the greatest Secretary of State in the history of the United States. I believe that.
Wow, he actually got him a smile for once. Which went straight back to his game face.
We really fought it out. You remember, he was tough. He was nasty. Who the hell thought this was going to happen, Marco, right? And now I'm saying he's going to go down as the greatest. He will. He was always smart and sharp, and people respect him.
Well, you remember back during the debates in 2016 when Marco Rubio, well, it wasn't during the debate, it was during a campaign speech that Marco Rubio was given, talking about Trump's small hands, and you know what they say about guys with small hands. And then Trump came back the next day when he was on a campaign speech of his own. He's like, yeah, I heard some offhand remark about Marco Rubio making fun of my hands and suggesting that something else might be small. I guarantee you there is no problem there, or some shit. I don't remember exactly how he worded it, but that was hilarious. Anyway, so I believe that President Trump declares Secretary Rubio will go down as the greatest Secretary of State in the history of the United States. All right. And now we're going to get into the hostages reuniting. So, wow, just wow. An Israeli father reunites with his son that has been held hostage for the past 2 years.
אבי, תן, זהו. בואי מירי. גם.
אז רגע, מה, אני אשים את התיק פה?
שימי, שיהיה לך נוח אחרי זה.
זה בסדר לשים פה? אפשר להיכנס? בואו. אבי, להשאיר את ה...
שמע ישראל, אדוני אלוהינו, אדוני אחד. ברוך אתה, אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם,
Hey, he made it.
יוסף חיים שלי, האור שלי, הלב שלי, די, זה מאחוריין כבר. נשמה שלי.
So when he's saying like there, it's all right.
חיים שלי, כפרון עליך. הלב שלי, חזור לי החיים. תודה לאנשים שהחזירו אותך חיים. תודה.
Very cool, man. Yeah, as a parent myself, I cannot imagine the absolute hell that they've been through over the last 2 years. There's no way I could possibly imagine it. Being kidnapped by terrorists, just no. Absolutely just freaking horrifying. So just absolutely just such a beautiful thing that they're all being reunited. It's so amazing. 20 hostages. Today on October 13th, more than 2 years since the October 7th Hamas massacre, the last living hostages in Gaza were released as part of the first phase of the U.S. brokered peace plan. Welcome home. They are home. See, I believe they're going to go through them one by one here. How cool, man. Talk about a happy ending. All right, so we have Nimrod Cohen's family crying tears of joy as they embrace him for the first time. Their nightmare is over, finally. So the next few that I have here were reposted by Marco Rubio. So that's where I got them from, was repost from Secretary Rubio.
וואו, מתוק שלי, בוא, אמא שלך. אוי, נמרוד. ילד גיבור שלי, ילד גיבור שלי.
תראה אותך. גאונית.
ראית את זה?
לא, ראיתי בתמונה.
בליילון ראית את זה.
בתמונה.
מה שאתה רוצה. אתה יודע שהוא הביתה בחדר קוד שלנו?
אמרנו בבית החולים שיכינו גלידת מוקה חיסו.
סיפרו לי, זה היה בשחר, שעשית המון בעיות.
אין לך מושג.
All right, we'll go to the next one. Returning hostage Elkanah Bobat meets his wife Rivka for the first time after 2 years in Hamas captivity. So much relief, disbelief, and joy all in one hug.
הכל טוב, הכל בסדר, זהו, הכל טוב, אני שלם, את שלמה. כל הכבוד לך על הכל, אני גאה בך, את לוחמת, את לוחמת, זהו, שי צחוק.
All right. So this is a good one. Newly freed brothers Ariel and David Cuneo jump out to greet I'm assuming greet their family, and the hugs are big. Yay, they made it. This guy, his picture beforehand, he had real short hair. It looked like he grew his hair out.
ברוך אתה אדוני, הגיענו לזמן הזה.
Man, I can only imagine this celebrating. I mean, they're going to be celebrating for, what would feel like a lifetime, probably. All right, so Aviva Klumpas, Yosef Chaim Ohana's father reunites with his son, and it is a hug for the ages. Oh, yeah, okay, we saw this one. We saw this one, so I'll go to the next one. Yeah, we did catch that one. I think is that it? Is that all I got? All living hostages freed after 2 years of Hamas captivity. She didn't leave a caption, so I'm assuming this is another video of reuniting. Yeah, okay.
ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם שהחיינו וקיימנו והגיענו לזמן הזה.
יש לך שתי ידיים, שתי רגליים.
שתי עיניים, שתי אוזניים.
איך התגעגעתי אליך אבא.
זהו, זה נגמר, נגמר.
חיים שלי, אתה אלוף גיבור, כפרה עליך אני, כפרה עליך אני, כמה החיות שלך מחכות לראות אותך, ואילנה, חיים שלי ונוני, כל העולם חיים שלי, בטח, החזירו לי אותו אחרי 4 ימים, אתה לא מבין, טונטון, אתה לא מבין, חיים שלי, מה? כפרה עליך אני, זה החיים שלי, אתה רוצה לשתות, כפרה עליך, בוא כפרה עליך, בוא.
I mean, they all look relatively healthy. I mean, obviously they're really skinny, but I mean, they're up, they're walking, they're not in the worst of shape. I think a lot of people were expecting, or like not even knowing what to expect as far as their condition. But I mean, I don't know if I don't think we saw all 20. So there could be a couple that might be, in the hospital. I believe they were all being reunited in a medical center. So, all right, here, let's see what this is. All right, so Donald J. Trump's True Social. I am very proud to announce that Israel and Hamas have both signed off on the first phase of our peace plan. This means that all of the hostages will be released very soon, and Israel will withdraw their troops to an agreed-upon line as the first steps toward a strong, durable, and everlasting peace. So this was, I think this would be at least a week ago. I remember reading this on an episode. It was about a week ago. All parties will be treated fairly. This is a great day for the Arab and Muslim world, Israel and all surrounding nations, and the United States of America. And we thank the mediators from Qatar, Egypt, and Turkey who worked with us to make this historic and unprecedented event happen. Blessed are the peacemakers. Donald J. Trump. And we'll head to the next one. From Steve Scalise, what a historic and joyous day. After 2 years of being tortured at the hands of Hamas, all living hostages have been returned thanks to President Trump and his administration. We pray this is the beginning of enduring peace in the Middle East. The president is the peace president. And we have this from the White House. Thank you. Trump chants ring out in now named Freed Square in Tel Aviv as all 20 living hostages return home.
Thank you, Trump! Thank you, Trump! Thank you, Trump!
Celebrations still underway in what they're calling Freed Square now, no longer Hostage Square.
Freed Square. Oh, they called it Hostage Square. All right, interesting. All right, so this comes from Senator Dick Durbin, who is he the whip? Yeah, he's the Democratic whip and ranking member in the Senate. You can tell he's a Democrat because he's got the blue symbol next to his name. Anyway, he says, congratulations to President Trump and the historic Gaza agreement. We know there are still critical elements to be negotiated and settled, but the release of the Israeli hostages and the Palestinian prisoners is a good faith start. Now let's negotiate a political ceasefire on Capitol Hill. Of course, he had to have the last backhanded remark. But anyway, Secretary Marco Rubio, once again, welcome to freedom. Daniel Ferrer, Coordinator General. Actually, oh, okay, so this isn't even related. He posted this 6 hours ago. Well, I mean, I got it in front of me. I might as well read this. But it's just know that this individual isn't connected with the Israeli hostages getting released. I placed this in the wrong spot, but anyway. So welcome to freedom, Daniel Ferrer. After years of repression, torture, and abuses from the Cuban regime, Ferrer and his family are in the United States. The Cuban people's desires for basic freedoms and democracy are an inspiration to many. We reaffirm our commitment to a free, fair, and democratic Cuba. So yeah, I should have proofread that one a little more carefully, but that's all right. So this comes from the GOP. The words you're looking for are, thank you, President Trump. And they're replying to Pocahontas Elizabeth Warren. For 2 excruciating years, I've called for the return of the hostages brutally kidnapped on October 7th and held in Gaza. Today is a good day. Surviving Israeli hostages are finally home and reuniting with loved ones. I'm thinking of them and their families on this joyful day and praying for their full recovery. I'm also grieving for all those who can't come home today. Today must also be an important step toward lasting peace in the region. Peace for both Israelis and Palestinians. We must end the war in Gaza, surge humanitarian aid, and negotiate a 2-state solution now. And she's replying to Boston Globe. Hamas released all 20 remaining living hostages held in Gaza on Monday as part of a ceasefire, pausing 2 years of war that saw Israelis kill thousands of Palestinians. Yeah, of course they had to throw that in there, now didn't they? But if you want to read that, I'll link it. And we'll head back to the next one. Let's see. I think one more. All right, here we go. From Senator Ted Budd, the world woke up to the wondrous news that 20 hostages held 738 days in Gaza were finally reunited with their families. While there is much to celebrate, 28 families still wait for the return of their loved ones' remains. The president overcame failures of the Biden administration by restoring America's commitment to Israel's security and applying relentless pressure on Hamas terrorists. Blessed are the peacemakers. And from Michael Watley, after 738 days, the Israeli hostages have been returned thanks to the tireless work of President Trump and his administration. May God bless the peacemakers and the people of Israel. President Donald Trump delivers remarks to the Knesset. And I believe this is the entire one. So if it is, then I will link it. Yeah, here we go. Yeah, so the entire video is 3.5 hours, but it looks like they marked it for when the speech begins. But anyway, I'll repost this. I have a direct link to my X account if you want to check it out in the description. But also you can just go directly to the White House. It was posted at 5:10 a.m. man, early in the morning, man. President Trump was out crazy early. All right, so we have this from the White House. This week, against all odds, we have done the impossible and brought our hostages home. President Donald J. Trump. And the quote says, we have built industries together. We have made discoveries together. We have confronted evil. And perhaps most beautifully of all, we have made peace together. And this week, against all odds, we have done the impossible and brought our hostages home. And that is it. That's all I got from the hostages being released. Phase 1 is done. President Trump said that they are, as we speak, they're moving into phase 2 of, I'm assuming, the rebuilding of Gaza. Well, no, that I don't think that's happening yet. I think now they're going to go through the process of disarming and getting rid of or collecting all the weaponry and everything, which is probably going to be a very high risk process. Hopefully nothing crazy happens because, yeah, the hostages are released. So now they're going to have to go in and deal with just as dangerous of a situation, I imagine. So I guess we'll just have to hear how it goes in the coming days, coming weeks and months. I'll see if I can grab some more posts from Democrats. I was going to grab some from Democrats and Republicans and go through some of them, but I mean, obviously there was so much to go through already. Just the huge number of video clips that were out there. I mean, the White House, they had dozens of video clips of their own. I could have probably put together at least 50 or maybe even 100 different video clips, but I just don't, there's just not enough time, man. So much stuff happened today. So I'll try tomorrow to see if I can come across any Democrats that actually praised Trump. I would like to find any of those, or any who didn't even mention Trump, like Elizabeth Warren, or maybe some who had, like Dick Durbin, a backhanded remark. I think that would be somewhat entertaining to try to pull some Democrat posts with regard to this. So I'll see if I can grab some tomorrow for tomorrow's show. All right, so this comes from The Blaze. What do you think about Obama's presidential library? I mean, this thing looks, I don't know if I would go as far as to call it a monstrosity, but it's a very weird looking building. Definitely a fitting structure for the Democrat Party, I would say. A modern art, wouldn't go as far as to call it a masterpiece, but I don't know. It's interesting. And this thing is currently at $615 million that it's cost them just to build this complex, Obama's presidential library. So there's no sound. It's just an aerial overview. Obviously still under construction. It's in the south side of Chicago. It looks like painted glass there. So I don't remember the name of the neighborhood. It's in the south side of Chicago, and it's close to Lake Michigan, of course. So I don't know what's up with all these walkways and all that landscaping and everything. It's weird. It's like they made it almost look like a monument or something. It's just, I don't know. It's kind of weird they went with that design, but those are the modern Democrats for you. I guess they want to stand out in any way they can. All right, so yeah, it looks like it just goes around for 2.5 minutes, just kind of flying around it. So there you go. Obama's presidential library. It's supposed to be done in the spring. It'll be in Chicago. All right, J.D. Vance, the president told me he did this on Indigenous Peoples Day in honor of you. So this is Elizabeth Warren. For 2 excruciating years, I have called for the return of the hostages brutally kidnapped on October 7th and held in Gaza. So we already read that, of course. So, but yeah, J.D. Vance was responding to her. And I thought that was hilarious that he mentioned that, you know, we saved the special day just for you. It's Indigenous Peoples Day, or it's former Indigenous Peoples Day. So this is from RNC Research. They're messing with Pocahontas, Warren, and this is from the Democrats on Indigenous Peoples Day. Of course, they're not going to say Columbus Day. So any Italian Americans out there, if you're a Democrat still, why? Why? They clearly don't like you. They hate Christopher Columbus with a passion. What do they call him? Like a man of atrocities, and they said that he murdered countless people. And okay, yeah, all right. But I guess it's your choice if you still want to be a Democrat and be an Italian American. Well, though I'm not really sure why. But so anyway, they say on Indigenous Peoples Day, we honor our country's first people and celebrate their culture, traditions, and contributions. We remain committed to honoring tribal sovereignty and working in true partnership to strengthen Native communities every day. So it's Indigenous People Day, but without the people. Where are the people? There's no images. Like, where's the collage? Like, I know there's a lot of tribes. There's hundreds, if not probably over 1,000 different tribes. But you couldn't have grabbed a few people? Why not? I just thought that was a little weird. All right, and this is also from the Democrats. This one from House Democrats. Happy Indigenous Peoples Day. House Democrats celebrate the unique histories, cultures, and achievements of our Native communities. And that's not an Indigenous people person either. That's a bison, I think. So not sure why they went with that image and why they didn't go with actual real human beings on Indigenous Peoples Day. But whatever, that's Democrats for you. So we got this from Homeland Security. Happy Columbus Day. Landing of Columbus. John Vanderlyn painted this. And there's Christopher Columbus on the day of landing. And they've got the Indigenous people back there. See, so they're actually showing both sides here. Happy Columbus Day, Happy Indigenous Peoples Day over here. And yeah, there you go. So Columbus Day. And we've got this from Daily Caller, moving to the Dominion voting systems. This blew my mind. So this wasn't 24 hours ago. So I guess I kind of lied when I said that all my art or everything that was posted is going to be within the last 24 hours. But I had to show this because I didn't really see this anywhere. I didn't see it anywhere until yesterday. And this happened back on October 9th. So this is from Daily Caller. Dominion Voting Systems has been acquired by founder and chairman of Liberty Vote, Scott Leiendecker, in a deal which included dropping lawsuits against conservatives. Is it Leiendecker or Leiendecker? I don't know. Leiendecker. Anyway, a former GOP election reform advocate has officially become the sole owner of Dominion after making the deal contingent on dropping several remaining lawsuits against prominent conservatives in One America News Network. I believe Rudy Giuliani is one of them named in the lawsuits, and others on his level. I can't remember who specifically, but there were a number of people that were in these lawsuits. Matter of fact, they probably have it in the article because I'm sure they linked it. Yeah, okay, so here we go. Let me bring this up and have a look. I would imagine that they named a few. So Dominion Voting Systems has been acquired, so we already went over that. Let's see. Oh, and One America News Network. They were also named in the lawsuit. So Leiendecker further disclosed to the caller that remaining litigation with MyPillow CEO Mike Lindell, former New York City Mayor Rudy Giuliani, and former Trump campaign attorney Sidney Powell will be dropped by Dominion Voting Systems as part of the acquisition agreement. And Dominion also filed a lawsuit against Herring Networks, which owns One American News Network, in August of 21. The lawsuit remained unresolved through Leiendecker further confirmed that future litigation will be discontinued following the acquisition. The Liberty Vote will be inheriting ongoing litigation with former Overstock CEO Patrick Byrne. The Daily Caller learned the acquisition makes Dominion a fully American-owned company, a shift Leiendecker says is designed to strengthen public confidence, enhance transparency, and rebuild trust in the integrity of U.S. elections. And it's a post from Daily Caller. While Dominion seems poised to sue dozens in right-wing media, One American News Network announces whopping 3-hour fraud special featuring Mike Lindell. Damn, 3-hour special? Holy shit. That was back on February the 5th of 2021. Which, of course, Dominion voting systems, those were all those electronic voting terminals that we all had to cast our ballots into in the majority of the country during the 2020 election and probably 2024 election too. So, quote, every legacy system is under review. Liberty Vote will be 100% American-owned, American-built, and independently audited. We won't ask for trust. We'll earn it and prove it, Leiendecker told the caller in a statement. The election technology company is being marketed to champion reforms aimed at ensuring every American's vote is secure and accurately counted, according to a press release. Under its new leadership, Liberty Vote will move its operations entirely to the United States. Isn't that fucking mind-blowing that this company is not even an American company, but it's responsible for counting the ballots in the American electoral system? That is so fucked up, man. I mean, like, I thought that the federal government was only supposed to be doing business with American-based companies. I'm pretty sure there was a federal law on record for that, because that's why, at least they claim, that all of the materials that we have to use, or, well, at least the manufacturing process for all the wind turbines and all the solar panels, it's all supposed to be made in America because it's federal law. Anything that the government contracts with, I thought, was supposed to be built in the USA. So, anyway, I don't know how they got around that with this, but I guess if I'm wrong, correct me in the comments. Under its new leadership, Liberty Vote will move its operations entirely to the U.S. The company says it is prioritizing election integrity by implementing third-party auditing standards, the same release added. Liberty Vote signals a new chapter for American elections, one where trust is rebuilt from the ground up, Leiendecker stated in the press release. Liberty Vote is committed to delivering election technology that prioritizes paper-based transparency, security, and simplicity so that voters can be assured that every ballot is filled in accurately and fairly counted. In addition, the company is prioritizing the use of hand-marked paper ballots to strengthen election security and compliance. This initiative aligns with President Donald Trump's executive order titled Preserving and Protecting the Integrity of American Elections, which is designed to safeguard the electoral process and uphold federal standards. Since the 2020 election, Dominion has launched several major defamation lawsuits, including a $1.3 billion case against Lindell, accusing him of spreading false claims about the company's role during the 2020 presidential election to boost his pillow sales. The company filed a $1.3 billion defamation lawsuit against Palo over what Dominion described as wild accusations that it rigged the 2020 presidential election to secure a win for former President Joe Biden. Look, I don't know if they rigged the entire thing in favor of Joe Biden, but they definitely had their fair share of issues, to say the least. Dominion also filed a separate $1.3 billion lawsuit against Giuliani, a close ally of Trump, alleging he repeatedly promoted baseless claims that Dominion rigged the election in favor of Biden. And so we got that post from Daily Caller in February of 21. Newsmax Media reached a $67 million lawsuit with Dominion in August in relation to its defamation lawsuit over the outlet's alleged defamatory coverage of Dominion regarding the 2020 election. Damn, man. The company previously reached a $787.5 million lawsuit with Fox News, who agreed to pay the voting software company in April of 2023. How did I miss that? Did anyone listening to this, did you know that was a thing? I didn't know that Dominion successfully sued Fox News and Newsmax, especially for damn near $1 billion, dude. That's absolutely insane. Absolutely crazy. So that's it for the Daily Caller article. It'll be linked. And move on to the next one. I got a few posts regarding Dominion. Right Angle News Network. Breaking. Democrats are now demanding the removal of Dominion voting machines after a pro-Trump investor bought the company and rebranded them as Liberty voting machines, with some Democrats even calling for paper ballots. So I'm going to skip this video for now because I have it in a thread below. And this one from Lindell TV. Breaking. Dominion voting system sold, rebranded as Liberty Vote. Dominion has been quietly sold to No Inc., a company already entrenched in U.S. elections. Now No Inc. controls everything. Voter registration, poll books, tabulators, election night reporting. This rebrand won't fool anyone paying attention. The DNA of Dominion is still inside these machines. Election watchdog Jessica Polema joined the Mike Lindell show to break it all down, including disturbing ties to Venezuelan election interference and whistleblower-backed evidence you can see at electioncrimebureau.com. Same actors, same systems, new name. End-to-end control of our elections is now in the hands of one company. All right. It's 4 minutes. I don't know if I'm going to play the whole thing. I guess I'll give it, just a little bit.
not the case anymore in Washington, D.C. There's something...
I'll repost it just... Oh, shit. Fuck. Sorry. I'll repost it just in case that I don't get all the way through it. So that way, if you want, you can check my my X profile. Again, it's linked below. Or it's on Real Lindell TV over on the X platform.
That's not the case anymore in Washington, D.C. There's something happening every single day, even on the weekends under the Trump administration. And one of the things that happened just late this week, that was a recent announcement, is a big news item, and it deals with the sale of Dominion voting systems
kind of big.
to a company called No Inc. And I'm going to be joined for this segment and another segment talking about something else that has been discovered out in South Dakota by a very special lady by the name of Jessica Polima. Jessica heads up the SD canvassing group out in South Dakota. It's election integrity.
Well, I thought the dude that bought Dominion, what's his name? He's a former Republican operative, from what I've read. That he's deeply entrenched in the Republican Party.
We'll just pop in and see what actually happened regarding this sale of Dominion to a company called No Inc. Check out item number 1 there. We'll see. Here's a list of services that are provided. Here's the. So yesterday the announcement was made.
All right, you know what? I'm just going to link it. All right, because there's more to get through, and he's just going over a summary and basically probably going over the exact same thing I already did in the Daily Caller, but I already reposted it if you want to check it out. All right, so moving on to the next thing. X1A Dominion voting machines have been purchased by, and this looks like, I don't know, maybe answer from Grok. Yes, as of October 9th, 2025, Dominion voting systems has been sold. Here are the key details. The buyer is a newly formed company called Liberty Vote, led by Scott Leiendecker, a former Republican election official. Liberty Vote now assumes full ownership and operational control of what was Dominion. The transaction's financial terms have not been publicly disclosed. Previously, Dominion had been controlled by the private equity firm Staple Street Partners, which in 2018 bought a 70% stake in the company. And I've got another one, Culture War Intel. This is a thread of Democrats now calling for paper ballots since Dominion voting sold to conservative. What? Oh, it sounds like that we might be getting our paper ballots after all. I mean, look, that's what we really wanted all along, voter ID and paper ballots. Republican buys Dominion and gives it a MAGA makeover. Just like that, Democrats don't like electronic voting and beg for paper ballots. Ain't that fucking funny? What about election ID? Are they going to demand that too? That is fucking hilarious. So I've got a whole thread of these videos. So here's the first one. Oh my God, it's all of them. Holy moly.
The major voting machine companies in every single one.
Ooh, they so twiggin'. All right, the rabble, the NPCs, they speak loudly and incoherently. All right, so we've got this MAGA buys Dominion voting machines getting full dictatorship coming. Uh-oh, here we go from TikTok.
Just dropped that's quite honestly going to put us in a full-blown dictatorship. Dominion voting systems, one of the biggest voting tech.
If we don't have full control, if we don't have absolute, unfettered, unchecked, complete and total totalitarianism style power, then they're going to cheat. It's a dictatorship if we don't have the power.
He's in the country.
Fucking spare me, lady.
Bought out by a man who is a major Trump supporter. This is not random, it's strategic. Just a quick recap, Dominion was the company that Trump allies were literally freaking out about conspiracy theories about a rigged election in 2020. And now someone that aligns with the same political movement owns the fucking company. That means one of the largest systems.
Don't you just love capitalism?
And verify your votes is now under control to a man that is loyal to the same guy that tried to overturn the 2020 election. You can call that a coincidence if you want, but to me, this is not screaming democracy. This is screaming
we don't live in a democracy.
Dictatorship. First, they went after the courts, then the schools. Now it's the voting systems. Every single move is about control. Control of the message, control of the laws, and now control of the ballots themselves. This really should freak you out, because once they own the vote, they own the direction of where.
Oh, give me a fucking break, lady. You all, like, you own the mainstream media, you own Hollywood, you own the entire mainstream culture, pop culture, the university system, the public education system. I mean, like, yeah, dude, give me a fucking break. All right, Culture War Intel. Get your mail-in ballots ready. Here we go with another TikTok.
Get your mail-in ballots ready.
Dude, these people are freaking out, man.
Dominion Voting Systems, the voting company that owns the machines that were at the center of all of the election denier 2020 bullshit, has been sold. To whom, you might ask? I'm so glad you asked. It is now called Liberty Vote, and it's Scott Leiendecker, a former GOP elections director in St. Louis, Missouri.
Yeah, but would it surprise you, lady? It says former GOP. Perhaps he is a card-carrying Democrat now. Maybe. I mean, probably not.
What does that say?
It says former. That's what I see.
Elections with transparent, secure,
I don't know. Move your fucking head out of the way.
Systems. My brothers and sisters in Satan, I would trust Edward Scissorhands to do my fucking pap smear. Before
Dude, there's just no pleasing these people, is there?
Absolutely the fuck not.
Well, look, man, we've been telling you for years, I'm not a Republican, but Republicans have been telling everyone for years, conservatives been telling everybody for years, we got to get paper ballots. And the Democrats were just so anti-paper ballot, they didn't want anything to do with it. They had their full faith and trust in Dominion. So I kind of question who really had control of Dominion in the first place. Like, it was a Canadian company, wasn't it? Something like that. And I believe that they're just a little bit liberal up in Canada.
What? Y'all, do all the things from the bottom up because we need to get this word out here because nobody is.
Well, I mean, what do you expect, dude? It's already sold. It's already a done deal. All right, so here's this dude. This dude actually goes a bit insane.
A fucking MAGA person just bought Dominion Voting Systems.
Motherfucking MAGA, man.
Fucked. Let's get into it.
Damn maggots.
So this man right here, his name is Scott Leiendecker. I have no idea if that's how you pronounce it or not. But he is literally a GOP operative. And he has bought Dominion Voting Systems. I'm going to show you more info on it right now.
Oh, please do tell.
Right here, you can see it's an Axios article. Dominion,
left-wing
one of the biggest
Axios,
election equipment providers, and was used in 27 states. The name of this company this man owns is called Liberty Vote, and
oh no, Liberty. It sounds so like I don't know, a dystopic. Sounds like a pure dictatorship. Oh my God, Liberty. It's totally synonymous with authoritarianism in the worst possible way.
His name, Scott Leiendecker, if you want to look it up. I think I said it wrong first time. But he worked in Mississippi. In Missouri. Let me show you real quick. You can see here, has deep Republican connections. He was appointed to a role investigating St. Louis's elections after the 2000 election. He was also appointed as the election director by Republicans. So? He is full-on fucking MAGA.
I didn't read that anywhere.
This man is so MAGA that in his press release, he said they are going to be in full compliance with Trump's executive order.
Yeah, dude, because an executive order is law, you fucking retard.
Like it's a fucking law or something.
Oh my God, he is retarded.
Not only did he buy it,
he is full-blown retarded.
The sale was that Dominion would reach undisclosed settlements with former New York City Mayor Rudy Giuliani and Trump lawyer Sidney Powell.
Yeah, that means they're going to drop them. You fucking idiot.
Two people who tried helping Trump.
They're not going to pay Rudy Giuliani. They're just going to drop the fucking lawsuits.
I mean, it doesn't get much fucking worse than this, folks. And I'm going to show you why Democrats lose. So I went and checked a bunch of
I don't think that they've lost quite a lot.
To see if anybody had even tweeted about this. I couldn't find one Democratic politician
until
who had even
now
tweeted about this shit. Ken Martin is the head of the DNC. He hadn't even mentioned it on his Twitter account. And then we get this quote in the same article. Nevada.
Yeah, dude, because Democrats are trying to keep their base stupid. They're trying to keep you into a bunch of NPC rabble where you just, I don't know, just mouth breathe and drool and just comply accordingly. That's all they want you to do, dude. They want to keep you as low info as humanly possible. Although I am kind of surprised that they weren't screaming this all over the mainstream news, if I'm being honest.
The Democratic Secretary of State called Leiendecker open, honest, and transparent. Do you fucking think that if a man who was appointed by a Democratic governor was going around buying fucking voting machines, that the Republicans would completely ignore it? They wouldn't mention it. It's all they would fucking talk about forever. You would never hear the fucking end of it. And
all right, whatever. All right, so we'll move on to the next one. So the Trump administration bought Dominion voting machines. Dude, what the hell are you doing on TikTok, dude? You're like a fucking 100 years old.
Bought Dominion voting machines. Now, not Trump personally, but one of his best cronies did.
Dude, what's up with all these Southern Democrats, man?
I'm warning you that they're already way ahead of you on the next election. And that's the whole post. The Trump administration now owns the Dominion voting machines.
They actually don't.
Good luck.
But okay. God, these people are hilarious, man. All right, we got another one. Disturbing news. Dominion Voting Systems was just purchased by a GOP conspiracy election official.
Okay, so we got to talk about this disturbing news yet. That Dominion Voting
Oh my God, dude, this is 4 minutes. I'm not going to play this whole thing.
By a GOP conspiracist election official. Yeah.
Oh, that conspiracy.
Somebody who pushed all of the election conspiracy claims by Donald Trump. Dominion Systems sold to this man. His company is Liberty Vote, and that's what Dominion's voting system is going to be changed to. And they're being marketed by a company called Logan Circle Group that has on their cover and all their marketing a photo of J.D. Vance, Trump,
show us the picture.
Taylor Greene, and Matt Gaetz.
Yay, Matt Gaetz.
So
it's from my
literally,
state.
the MAGA conspiracists are going to be controlling a huge number of voting machines. This is what's really disturbing about this.
You can almost hear
Dominion
the gears in her brain
had
starting to
just
come
won
apart.
A
Her brain is short-circulating.
$787 million settlement.
$700 million
against Fox News for spreading the Trump conspiracy.
I know they're going to drop it. Or no, actually, Fox News had to pay him, didn't they?
Just settled for $67 million for doing the same. OAN, the big right-wing conspiracy rag, is currently in the middle of settlement negotiations for
they're going to drop it.
Trump lies about the election. Lendell, the pillow guy, his case is still pending because Dominion was suing a ton of people.
No, I believe they're dropping his too.
Rudy Giuliani was one of them, and that was settled or it's still pending.
No,
but this
all
is
settled.
a company.
Lady,
that
did
made
you
a
not
shit
just
ton of
read
money.
the fucking news?
Whether Fox
what are you
News
looking
and
at?
everybody paid up yet? I don't know. So you have to ask yourself why. Financially, they are going to receive a windfall from all these settlements. Why would they sell to the enemy, to the very people who put them through this hell? And
because it is capitalism, man.
They literally did not want to run voting systems in an America with Trump MAGA Republicans ready to do this all over again if future elections do not go their way. I have to imagine.
Oh man, they're gonna have a lot of fun with this, man. They're just gonna keep their eye on that ball. They're gonna be way distracted with this whole Dominion thing for the next coming who knows how long. Maybe that was all part of the plan. Maybe just keep their eye off the ball. Just look over at the Dominion stuff. You know, just keep digging into all that conspiracy nonsense. All right, Dominion voting system is now Liberty Vote. And this says, my fellow Americans, actually, let me go back. I think that was a little bit larger. Yeah, so today I'm proud to announce Liberty Vote, 100% American-owned election technology company dedicated to restoring trust in our elections. The mission is clear. Every vote must be secure, fair, and verifiable. I have spent my life working to strengthen America's elections. That commitment began years ago in the aftermath of the 2000 election when I worked for the Missouri Secretary of State. Later, as election director in St. Louis, I led the effort to modernize outdated systems and rebuild public trust. Eventually, I founded an election technology company that today serves nearly 1 in 4 voters nationwide. So I'm sure if you've been following politics over the last 5-10 years or so, definitely during the 2020 election, there was a lot of nefarious business going on where there were stacks of ballots that were discovered. There were piles of them that were thrown away. They were taping up the windows in the counting centers. Steven Crowder, I remember he did something where he I don't even know where he got it from. He got a public information request that had a whole bunch of addresses on it, and they were cross-referencing these addresses belonging to people who were registered voters, and they were actually going out to these addresses, and they were all empty lots. He found like 200 some odd empty lots, and I want to say it was in Arizona, I think. And so he had a whole thing going on with that. And all of it was happening in all these blue areas and all these major cities. Plus, there was ballot harvesting that was going on. People were getting paid like $20-$30 to give their ballots over to these like Democrat operatives that were going door to door. There's a whole bunch of funny business going on. But you didn't really hear anything from Republicans and how much they were stealing this and stealing that. Nothing that was evidentiary like what was happening with Democrats in 2020. probably in 2024 also. All right, anyway, so finishing this up with Liberty Vote, we are building on that legacy. We're turning the page and beginning the vital work of restoring faith in American elections. While these changes will not happen overnight, Liberty Vote's mission is rooted in American values and committed to transparency, independent audits, and verifiable paper records. Our purpose is simple: to ensure that America's elections are secure, fair, and honest. So hopefully in this whole new system, they're going to weed out all of the votes that were cast by people who've been dead for years. And I mean, how wild would that be if this whole new ownership would produce like such a massive swing in the way that no more fraud is happening. Illegal immigrants aren't going to be voting anymore, because if they are, then it's going to be caught by this new system. I mean, it's certainly not good news for Democrats. That's for damn sure, because now they can't, well, at least they're going to try as much as they can to make sure that they don't cheat. At least not this time. All right, so anyway, I think these are just comments from this point on. Yeah, so this was not on my bingo card this year. The fallout from the is going to be most entertaining. All right. Yeah, it is. They're already freaking out. This is just a couple days ago. So maybe the mainstream news, I cannot imagine them not talking about this on CNN, on MSNBC. I think they would be just absolutely going just apocalyptic on the news with regard to this. But I don't know, man. The way that they were talking, like they didn't hear about it anywhere. They just happened to come across it, probably on the internet or something. So, all right. Anyway, this is from Kevin Monkla. Considering that the owner of No Inc. purchased Dominion, I thought we should point out Georgia election officials continue to knowingly conceal that the poll pads are all connected to the internet, like the SOS's general counsel, Charlene McGowan, in her false testimony under oath for the bar trial of 3 attorneys, perjury, multiple instances, material at a bar trial. Georgia AG, Chris, you have a duty of candor to the tribunal who are deciding the fate of 3 human beings. Your client's GC lied her ass off, blah, blah, blah. This was, okay. So I'm not sure how that directly relates to, I don't know, like maybe they got actual evidence that maybe Dominion was engaging in nonsense. I'm not familiar with this specifically. So were the poll pads for the November 2020 election connected to the internet in any way? And they said no. So I guess they're going to get to the bottom of that and find out that it was. This is 5 minutes too. I'm not going to be able to play all of this either. I'm just not sure.
In follow to that,
I'm just not sure how this is connected.
There is absolutely no internet connectivity to scanners or BMDs.
No, there is not.
Is there internet connectivity to the poll pad?
No, there is not. Not at the polls. No, when the poll. Dominic can explain more. When they actually establish the poll pads, they're connected to the, when they program them, they're connected to the internet. But he can give a description about that.
Well, why would they do that? Why would they do that? Fulton County officials repeatedly claim that at the polls, the poll pads are not connected to the internet. The evidence shows otherwise. Okay, so this video is suggesting that Dominion was engaged in funny business during the election. Authenticate registered voters from the Secretary of State's database. This system is called ePulse. Encodes a voter access card that is used to pull up the correct ballot style for the voter on Dominion voting machines. I mean, why go through all this bullshit when you could just verify by people's freaking state ID? Just verify by ID. That's what the poll workers do when you walk into the precinct. You walk in, you show them your ID, then you sign your name on the book that they have, then they give you your ballot, and you fill it out, and you cast it. It's all to do in-person voting. That's what I think. It should just all be in-person voting. And I wholeheartedly agree that it should be a holiday. Election Day should be a holiday. And I don't know which holiday that most people get off of work for, but maybe, opt to work on that day in order to have Election Day off. I don't know. But yeah, it definitely should be a holiday. And then by making it a holiday, then everybody shouldn't have any excuse to not go and vote in person. Of course, unless you're overseas or something like that. I know there's some exceptions to it. All right, Robbie Starbuck, Dominion Voting, infamous for their Dominion voting machines, has been sold to a company run by former Republican election official Watch how fast Democrats switch up their rhetoric about how trustworthy voting machines are. Maybe we finally get them to support paper ballots. Yeah, I think we already are. I think they absolutely are already doing that. So this may be the Axios article that a couple of those people in the video were referring to. Except Robbie Starbuck didn't freaking link it. Damn it. All right. Well, at least you got the... Here, let me just... I guess I'll do it myself. Scoop, Dominion voting sold. Oh, wait, hold on. Axios, right? Oh, I think yeah, here it is. By XGOP, correct? Yeah, there we go. All right, I found it. I'll link it if you want to check it out. So that's the article that he's referring to. All right, and I'll move on to the next thing. From True Southern Girl, I thought Dominion voting machines were 100% safe from voting fraud. If that's the case, why does it matter the political party of the owner? Democrats are now canceling voting machines and calling for paper ballots. You can't make this shit up. Oh, it's just a gif. Trump doing the Trump dance. All right, so moving on to the U.S. Navy. 250 years ago, a Navy was born, forged in the fight for freedom, built to defend a nation and ready to meet every challenge since. From wooden ships to nuclear carriers, from signal flags to satellites, the U.S. Navy stands ready on every horizon. And they have a video that they dropped. Oh, anything else? Okay, no, they're just tagging individuals.
Philadelphia, 1775, 250 years ago. A new nation was born, and with it, a navy. A navy forged in the fight for independence, built from a handful of ships and the determination of a people who refused to be denied their freedom.
Which they contracted them, didn't they? Didn't they get the ships from private contractors? Or privateers or whatever?
Legendary command damned the torpedoes, full speed ahead. Our sailors have met every challenge with courage and resolve. At Midway, they turned the tide of a world war. At Leyte Gulf, they fought the largest naval battle in history. In the waters off Korea, Vietnam, the Persian Gulf, and beyond, our Navy has carried America's resolve to every sea. Through those battles that shaped the course of history, the United States Navy has stood watch. We've sailed to the farthest corners of the globe, defended liberty in times of peace and war, and written our story in courage, sacrifice, and victory. Today, the Navy remains the shield of our nation, the foundry where sailors are forged, the fleet that stands ready on every horizon, and the fight, our promise that if challenged, America will win. From wooden sailing ships to nuclear-powered carriers, from signal flags to satellites, from cannon fire to precision weapons. For 2.5 centuries, we've led the way in innovation, transforming the seas into a domain of unmatched power.
Dude needs a
we
pop
are the
filter.
World's most advanced, most lethal, and most ready maritime force. A global navy that deters aggression,
Hell yeah, we are.
protects trade, strengthens alliances, and brings relief in times of crisis. But at the heart of it all are the sailors, men and women from every walk of life who proudly wear the cloth of our nation. Sailors who stand the watch tonight, just as others have since 1775, ensuring that America's promise endures. 250 years of honor, courage, and commitment. 250 years of foundry, fleet, and fight. And we're just getting started. Happy 250th birthday, United States Navy.
Just getting started. Hell yeah, U.S. Navy.
Philadelphia.
All right. A quarter of a millennia. That's a long time. Senate Republicans, happy birthday, U.S. Navy, October 13th, 1775. And another one from the U.S. Navy. President Bill Clinton, he honors 250 years of the United States Navy service to the nation and the world. In his commemorative letter, President Clinton reflects on the Navy's enduring legacy, forged in freedom, defined by courage, and sustained by generations of sailors who keep America strong. Happy 250th birthday, United States Navy. Was Bill Clinton in the Navy? Honestly, I don't know. I mean, maybe not, but anyway, that's the letter. To the sailors of the United States Navy, I'm proud to join in wishing you a happy 250th anniversary. As president, there is no greater honor than serving as America's commander-in-chief, and there is nothing more critical than having a ready fleet. Every American owes a debt of gratitude to all the sailors, past and present, who have served and continue to serve our country with distinction, honor, and bravery. You are the shining model of our American values, dedication, responsibility, and a willingness to sacrifice for the common good and for the interests and the very existence of this country. You should be proud of your role in keeping our country a true superpower and a genuine force for peace and democracy in the world. Congratulations on this milestone, and may the wind be at your backs for the next 250 years and beyond. Oh man, his handwriting's getting a little shaky. And he's getting old, man. Bill Clinton, he's getting old. All right, from the U.S. Department of Energy, Secretary Wright, we are going to stop closing existing reliable power plants that are essential to our grid, and we are going to bring some common sense back. God
Trump
willing.
got elected, of course, to reverse that nonsense. So the first thing we're doing is stop digging the hole. We're not going to subsidize things that we know their impact is going to be to drive up electricity prices. The One Big Beautiful Bill got rid of a lot of that.
One Big Beautiful Bill.
Stop closing existing reliable power plants that are essential to our grid. And we're going to bring some common sense back and make it easier to build reliable, affordable power on our electricity grid. But you make the right point. Look, there's a lot of momentum. Everything in the permit queue right now had to get through the Biden lens, which meant it couldn't be affordable or reliable because they didn't like that stuff. Right. So we've got to get that stuff back in the queue. We're getting shovels in the ground. We're absolutely going to turn this ship. And I hope in the next few months, not in the next few years. You'll see progress coming very soon.
Yeah, man. They're talking about small modular nuclear reactors. They're going to be mass producing them in Tennessee, and I'm sure in other locations as the years roll on. That's going to revolutionize the power industry, I think. And just to imagine like building a small nuclear reactor inside a factory setting where they can ship it out to different locations. And each one of those is supposed to power like 20,000 or more homes, which is crazy. But yeah, they already broke down on the facility, or broke ground on the facility in Tennessee, and they're supposed to be operational, I think is in 2027, which of course they're talking about coal production too, and nuclear, like large nuclear power stations. So yeah, it's definitely sorely needed, especially if they want to ramp up electric vehicles and the AI infrastructure and all that and whatnot. So, all right. So RNC election integrity. RNC hails court ruling in New Jersey ballot dispute. So something happened with regard to ballots in New Jersey. And this is on Newsmax. The Republican National Committee declared victory after a New Jersey appeals court ruled that the county officials must correct and reprint ballots found to violate state election law ahead of November's elections. RNC Chair Joe Gruters praised the decision, saying the ruling ensures fairness and transparency for New Jersey voters. Quote, Democrats in New Jersey tried to secretly redesign ballots to make it harder for voters to choose Republican candidates. But the court made clear they cannot ignore state election law. The RNC was proud to support Gloucester County Republicans in their fight to get these ballots reprinted. The RNC backed the Gloucester County Republican Committee in a lawsuit against County Clerk James Hogan, alleging his new ballot layout unlawfully altered the design to disadvantage GOP candidates. On Friday, a New Jersey appeals court agreed, ruling that Hogan's ballot arrangement violated multiple provisions of state election law, which require ballots to be organized in party-based columns. The court ordered officials to fix and reprint the ballots before early voting begins on October 25th, and Election Day is November 4th. The decision marks another in a series of RNC-backed legal wins challenging what Republicans have described as partisan ballot manipulation efforts in New Jersey and other states. The RNC has made election integrity a central issue ahead of the 2025 elections, pledging continued legal support to ensure, as Gruters put it, every voter gets a fair and lawful ballot. All right. Big win for New Jersey. And this comes from FBI Director Kash Patel. He's replying to Todd Blanche, which Todd Blanche says, hey, FBI Director Kash, the failing New York Times says we don't like each other. I guess we'll have to stop hanging out after work. Those dummies, virtually every part of their reporting is exaggerated or fabricated per usual. If it wasn't for Wordle, nobody would subscribe. And I mean, I would have liked to have seen the article, but that's okay. So Kash Patel replies, New York trash, the journalistic equivalent of crash test dummies. Oh, man. The drama intensifies. From Pete Hegseth, Pentagon access is a privilege, not a right. So here is the Department of War press credentialing for dummies. And it reads as follows. The press is no longer allowed to roam free in the Pentagon. The press must wear a visible badge, and credentialed press is no longer permitted to solicit criminal acts. Done. Pentagon now has the same rules as every U.S. military installation. So he waves at a few of these press entities, starting with New York Times, and they read a statement from the New York Times on the Pentagon's press pass policy. Quote, journalists from the New York Times will not sign the Pentagon's revised press pass policy, which threatens to punish them for ordinary news gathering protected by the First Amendment. Since the policy was first announced, we have expressed concerns that it constrains how journalists can report on the U.S. military, which is funded by nearly $1 trillion in tax dollars annually. The public has a right to know how the government and military are operating. The Times is dedicated to pursuing the public interest through deep, fair reporting and an unwavering pursuit of the facts. Richard Stevenson, Washington Bureau Chief. Well, Pete Hegseth said that they're using the same rules as all the military installations. I mean, he says it right here. The Pentagon now has the same rules as every U.S. military installation. So, I mean, he's not really like clamping down unnecessarily. He's just making it the same across the board with regard to military installations, because that's what the Pentagon is, at least last I checked. And there's another one from The Atlantic. The Atlantic's journalists will not sign the Pentagon's press policy statement. Here from editor-in-chief Jeffrey Goldberg. The Atlantic's journalists will not sign the Pentagon's press policy. We fundamentally oppose the restrictions that the Trump administration is imposing on journalists who are reporting on matters of defense and national security. The requirements violate our First Amendment rights and the rights of Americans who seek to know how taxpayer-funded military resources and personnel are being deployed. We will continue to cover matters of defense, war, and national security independently and fairly. Well, it would have helped if y'all didn't obtain tons of leaked information over the last few years. I mean, that certainly didn't help y'all's case when it comes to this. And that's what he's trying to do. He's trying to plug up all the leaks. And this is from the Washington Post. New statement from Washington Post executive editor on the Pentagon's new press access policy. Journalists from the Washington Post will not be signing the Pentagon's new press access policy. The proposed restrictions undercut First Amendment protections by placing unnecessary constraints on gathering and publishing information. We will continue to vigorously and fairly report on the policies and positions of the Pentagon and officials across the government. Matt Murray, executive director of the Washington Post. Well, it just sounds like that you're just basically just, restricting yourselves. You're kind of kneecapping your ability to report on what's going on at the Pentagon. So, I'm not sure that you're really doing yourself a big service by doing so. All right. Anyway, let me see where I was. Okay. So we were here, and that's it with regard to that. So Secretary of War Pete Hegseth was just simply waving at each one of them. Bye. Nice knowing you, I guess. All right, U.S. DOT rapid response. When we prioritize road safety, we help American truckers earn more money in their pockets. This administration is for the American worker, and we're seeing results time after time. And they are replying to Steve Guest. Must read, truckers gain wages as ICE detains highway illegals. Quote, some American truckers say they are getting paid more per mile as President Donald Trump's enforcement policies are pushing many of President Joe Biden's illegal migrants from the highways. And does he have the article? He does, and it's on Breitbart. Truckers gain wages as ICE detains highway illegals. Some American truckers say they're getting paid more per mile. Okay, we already saw that. Reddit. Normally do Chicago to Fargo for $1,200, a trucker declared on X. Had a delivery broker call and offer me $1,800. Needless to say, I took him up on the offer. Lord, do I hope this hangs around a little bit. And the crackdown on illegal truck drivers is happening. Here, let me pull out on this a little bit. So truck driver about 45 minutes outside of Chicago said he was pulled over by ICE, and they are pulling over all truck drivers. The Trump administration is enforcing citizenship and language requirements, so truckers will be able to read ... Let's see what else he says. We'll be able to read our traffic signs and communicate. Okay, so we got a video from him. We'll give this a quick watch.
The craziest thing just happened to me, gamers. So I'm driving, right? driving through Indiana, and I pulled into a truck
Indiana, the Hoosiers.
And I don't get pulled over by state police or DOT, but I got pulled in for ICE agents.
That's
and
hilarious,
man. My ID, asked confirmation on where I live, and it was crazy. They were inspecting every truck that was crossing through that region in Indiana, and we were in Chesterton, Indiana, which is about 45 minutes to an hour away from Chicago. I was not expecting it. Totally caught me off guard.
Yeah, well, I'm sure it's part of having a commercial driver's license. If law enforcement asks you for your ID, I'm sure you're supposed to produce one. I would assume that's the case. All right, so anything left? Yeah, there's a little bit here. The post-election gain for American truckers comes amid a cargo slump that is threatening the economic stability of many trucking firms and brokerage companies. The slump is especially damaging to the companies that exploited the huge population of low-wage illegal truckers who are being pushed off the roads by Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy's enforcement of long-ignored safety regulations. The exit of the foreign drivers is good news for the American truckers working in the relatively small spot market of online orders and unique loads. Under Biden, the per-mile rates in this market were slashed by many cheap illegal drivers from India and Eastern Europe, including Serbia and Croatia. But Duffy's crackdown is creating a compliance crunch that enables American truckers in most districts to get higher per-mile rates. Volumes are anemic, but spot rates rose 2% anyway, noted Craig Fuller, founder of the Freight Waves news site. What gives? We are seeing the bottom feeders get squeezed out of the market since these firms don't operate in the contract market. The raids by immigration agents on roads in a number of U.S. states, in which about 15 Serbian truck drivers have been arrested in the last few days, are continuing. The Serbian Times reported in early October. The Serbian Times. Adding, federal agents are confiscating CDL licenses for large trucks from those with work permits if they do not also have an I-94 customs form. More precisely, if they do not have confirmation that they entered the country legally, says our source from another transport company. And from Craig Fuller, I believe, yeah, we already read that. Strawman argument. Somali and African drivers using one legit person's license to pick up loads and then non-licensed drivers with basically no experience actually running them to undercut the competition has been happening for decades. Hope it actually gets fixed. Holy shit. The sudden economic change is driven by Trump's crackdown on the huge population of wage-cutting illegal migrant drivers welcomed by Biden's deputies. Many migrant drivers in many states are being forced off the road because executives are nervous. Lawyers are suddenly eager to sue, and insurance companies are raising rates for companies that have not fired their high-risk illegal drivers. So far, the many drivers in the tender market of multi-delivery contracts are not yet getting pay gains. The extra wages in the spot market are a tiny share of overall transport costs, and so create no danger of inflation. However, if wage gains spread to the larger market of planned deliveries, the retailers such as Amazon and Walmart are expected to claim that drivers' wage gains create an inflation threat to the nation's currency. Oh, yeah, fancy that. But the increased costs will likely be offset by American truckers' ability to cut the heavy costs imposed by the growing number of trucking accidents, delays, fraud, crimes, deaths, and cargo thefts enabled by foreign operators in the U.S. Quote, almost one-third of our nation's freight is hauled by non-citizen drivers, trucking expert Bill Skinner posted on X. That's not just a safety issue, it's a national security risk. Biden's cheap labor policy is affecting American drivers, Duffy told Fox News on October the 8th. We have Americans who have been in the trucking industry for 50 years through family businesses. They can't do business anymore because you have these illegals coming in living out of their trucks. You have teams of drivers, they're not safe, they can't speak the language, and they come in underpriced, way underpriced. Well, plus they can't read the road signs, and I'm sure they can't communicate via radio, at least not to English-speaking drivers. Man says that President Trump's mass deportations allowed him to find a trucking job. Really? Here, let's check this out.
I'm a truck driver, right? Let me tell you the effects of Donald Trump. This company called me begging me to work for them because they couldn't find drivers anymore.
Nice, man.
Why couldn't they find drivers? Because Donald Trump instituted that you must speak English in order to hold a CDL. That means people who are natural-born Americans, people who have been here for centuries, who built the country, now we get opportunities that all these foreigners would get. Say what you want to about Trump. I'm not saying he's not racist, but what he's doing positively affects me. Now the jobs that were going to illegal immigrants, that they were working for pennies on the dollar, now it goes to a natural-born, full-blooded American.
Exactly. Amen. And you should be supporting ICE's efforts to get them out of neighborhoods all across the major cities in these deep blue states and cities, the sanctuary states and cities. Anyway, that'll be linked. You want to take a look at that. And we'll move on to the next thing, which is going to be from the Japanese ambassador. I don't know his name. I can't remember. It's USA ambassador of Japan. George, is it George, or ambassador to George Glass? Anyway, so he says it's hard to say goodbye. Over the last 6 months, we have shared the best of American innovation and excellence with nearly 1.9 million visitors to the USA Pavilion at the 2025 Expo in Japan. During our most successful World Expo ever, it has been uplifting to see America's natural wonders and contributions to the world energize, exhilarate, and inspire so many. Thank you to everyone who visited the USA Pavilion and made the Expo 2025 Japan so memorable. And that is the entrance, or at least the front of the U.S. Exhibit at the Expo. But yeah, it was up for 6 months. And I saw some images. I don't know if I actually shared it on the show. If I did, it was probably like right after I started the show back in, when was that? Like late July, I think. And I've got this, last but not least, from VA Secretary Doug Collins. And he says, President Trump gave me simple instructions when he offered me the job at the Department of Veterans Affairs. The Secretary, take great care of America's veterans. That's exactly what we are doing. And he's here on Fox Business.
When you talk about dropping that backlog of disability by 100K, I mean, that is huge. Our families are seen. You see us. You served. You know about this. So, you know, I know we're focusing on the shutdown right now, but I do want to take like a bigger umbrella on this. President Trump sees us as military families and those who advocate for them, too.
Definitely. I was with him this past Sunday when we were on the ship with the H.W. Bush down and watching the Navy forces. And it was not our awesome war power that we have. What really got me was him and the First Lady interacting with the sailors and Marines that we saw all day. And it was genuine. And you could see it was genuine from their responses. And yes, he does care. And that's why he told me one thing. I probably had the easiest direction from the president ever given. He said, I asked him, Mr. President, what do you want me to do at the VA? He said, take care of my veterans. He sees us. He understands us. He loves us. He knows that they were the backbone for those who raise that right hand and say, I'm committing to this country. He wants to take care of them.
Well, yeah, and Trump probably did a lot better than Joe Biden did when he was interacting with the military. I doubt he really did a lot of interacting with anybody for that matter. All right, so that's all I've got for today. And just one quick look. The shutdown, 12 days, 12 hours, 7 minutes, 20 seconds. The countdown continues. And this No Kings protest is supposed to be happening this weekend. The predictions are that the Democrats are going to reopen the government after this stupid protest happens in Washington, D.C. I'm not so sure that's going to happen. I think they're just going to keep it shut down for, I don't even know, I guess months maybe, but we'll just have to see. So anyway, if you enjoyed the video, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. It would really mean a lot to me if you subscribe, and I'll drop a new episode every evening, Monday through Friday, covering the swamp and everyone living in it, the politicians, bureaucrats, agencies, and everything else. And I also post daily episodes over on X, so feel free to comment over there too if you'd like. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope you have a great rest of your night, and God bless America.